He went to a party and never came home. 17-year-old Jason had so much ahead of him, but it was ripped away by a gatecrasher. For his family, almost 4 years without Jason feels like a lifetime. His killer could soon walk free.
He loved his fishing, he loved camping, and most of all, he just loved being one of the boys.
Jason was 17. He went to a party. That night out was his last and the beginning of a living hell for his family.
Yeah, I begged him just to wake up and I begged him just to open his eyes, and basically I just begged him every day not to leave.
On a semi-rural property in Turin, southeast of Melbourne, Jason went to a 16th birthday party in March 2021.
So they were out the front waiting for the next Uber, and that's when the gate crashes came.
Jason and his mates had been at the party for about an hour and a half before his killer, known only as JN in court documents, arrived as well. JN had been at a friend's house beforehand who said there might be trouble. So one in their group asked, "Got any knives in case anyone starts anything?" That's when a mate gave JN a screwdriver.
There was just a bit of tension with this other boy and the gate crashes. Jason had overseen it and he went over just to stop it, just not even to stop it because it wasn't really a fight, but just to, say relax, let it go. And that's when they swung and hit him in the head. And then he fell to the ground and that was it.
We found out that he had been stabbed in the head, and then the nurse said, "Look, we have to put him in a coma, an induced coma."
For 2.5 agonising weeks, Mum Carolyn, Dad Paul and sisters Stacey and Emma watched Jason slip away.
Just feeling his heart actually stop and hearing his last breath. It's something that I'll never forget.
So why did you choose this spot for Jason?
It resembles his favourite camping place, which was Dargo. You've got the water running past, you've got the birds, the trees.
So this is where he'd be happy to be?
This would be his happy place.
Jason was defenceless. He wasn't aggressive and he wasn't armed. Initially charged with murder, Jason's killer ultimately pleaded guilty to manslaughter. He was sentenced to 6 years prison.
6 years, Jason probably would have lived another 80 at least, It's not enough.
It's not enough. I lost my son.
So how does a judge land on 6 years for such a brutal crime? Well, JN was 17 when he killed Jason, so he was sentenced as a child offender. The judge delved into a life of violence growing up in Afghanistan, fleeing to Australia by boat when he was 8, before dropping out of school here in Victoria. He first got in trouble with the law when he was 12, and he's since faced the Children's Court for assaults, weapons and drugs. Even once locked up, waiting to learn his fate, he attacked a youth justice worker. And yet, he may get a chance at freedom after just 4 years behind bars.
Mental health played a very important feature in the sentencing. However, his plea of guilty saved him approximately 2 years imprisonment and also his youth.
Independent criminal lawyer George Ballett.
He was a refugee from Afghanistan, had witnessed some atrocities and over the years developed schizophrenia and mental impairment, and in those circumstances started offending and then received a number of orders that he wasn't complying with.
It doesn't excuse what he did. I've got mental issues now with what I've had to deal with, but I don't go around stabbing people.
It's getting out of control. Nothing's being done about it.
Stacey has started a petition demanding stricter laws for children who commit serious offences. It's got 3,000 signatures already.
When they first offend, we need to be harsher then so they get the message. The reason they keep offending is because the message isn't serious enough.
The question is not whether the offender simply knew what's right or wrong. The question is the mental health condition that the offender had at the time reduced his moral culpability.
So the judge got it right?
Absolutely.
Every day for the rest of Carolyn's life, she has to walk past Jason's empty bedroom, his fishing rods left in the corner and footy trophies sitting on the shelf.
I'm hearing body, but in spirit, I'm not. It's lots of pain.
The courts are merely following the legislature, and the legislature is supposed to follow community expectations. In my view, the courts are sentencing appropriately.
If enough of us scream, the government or the lawyers or the judges, they'll get the message eventually, but we just have to be loud enough.
What's your message to your son's killer?
I hope he rots in hell.
I mean, seriously, how long are we going to make excuses for these kids? You arm yourself with a screwdriver, you know what could happen. 4 years for taking a life does not make sense, and it doesn't meet community expectations.